Waffles.
Without a doubt, some of the most recognizable aspects of any video game series are their characters. Having instantly recognizable characters like Mario, Sonic, Pac-Man, Big Daddies, Gordon Freeman, Master Chief, and so many others are truly what set your games apart from the rest. And typically, when a series has a famous main character or group of famous characters, there are often a select few that fall under the wayside and into obscurity, never to be heard from again. Not even referenced in any later content. So today, I'm going to take a quick look at some of gaming's most forgotten faces, and maybe shed a light on some of them. Koopa Kid. Before the Koopalings and even Bowser Jr. became more prominent characters in the Mario series in the late 2000s, Bowser often could be seen alongside an assortment of multicolored miniature versions of Bowser called Koopa Kids. These characters were most often used in the Mario Party series, and they all were pretty much identical to each other, acting essentially as some clones of Bowser. It's pretty easy to see why this character fell into obscurity after the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. took more of a spotlight. There really wasn't a need for Bowser to have these weird miniature assistants alongside him when he could have a plethora of much more uniquely designed characters with unique abilities at his disposal instead. It's actually a little bit surprising to see just how long he managed to stay used for, considering that by the time Mario Party 5 released, Bowser Jr. had already been introduced in Mario Sunshine the previous year. And he even could have appeared in Mario Party 4, as it wouldn't have been unlikely that Bowser Jr. was in development when Mario Party 4 was in production. It even looks like Nintendo themselves are trying to forget about Koopa Kid's existence, because for Mario Party Superstars, Bowser Jr. replaces Koopa Kid's appearances and a couple of item mini-games returning from Mario Party 2. The reason why Koopa Kid lands himself on number 5 on this list is because, as a whole, he's fairly uninteresting in almost every facet of his being. Still, though, I would find it a little bit interesting to see him return for a cameo appearance in the new Mario Party game. But I know that isn't gonna happen. Gilbert Alexander. While BioShock was and still remains to be an incredibly popular first-person shooter series, people really only seem to discuss the first and third entries, BioShock and BioShock Infinite. For whatever reason, BioShock 2 gets overlooked not only by the fanbase, but by the series itself. BioShock 2 is by no means a bad game, and in my personal opinion, is far better as a sequel to BioShock than Infinite ever wished it could be. And due to 2's overlooked nature, almost every single character in this entry has been completely forgotten, such as the main group of villains, the Rapture family. Admittedly, not all of these characters are winners. Sophia Lamb is by no means equal to Andrew Ryan, and Simon Wales is essentially just a glorified mini-boss enemy, but the rest of the Rapture family I think are some of the best written characters in the whole series, with the standout being Gilbert Alexander. Gilbert Alexander was involved with the creation of the player character Subject Delta and his bonding with the little sister Eleanor Lamb. Later down the line, Gil regretted his actions and sought the guidance of Sophia Lamb into a better, redeemed life. Eventually, Lamb forced him into an incredibly violent atom experiment which transformed him into an absolute monster who now can only communicate with security robots that fly around Fontaine Futuristics. He's a fantastic supporting antagonist, and the various threats and remarks he spouts loudly over your radio with his distorted voice makes for some of the game's most memorable moments.
Yes, congratulations! You've won a battle of wits with a home appliance!
Like the rest of the Rapture family, the player is given the choice to either spare or kill Gilbert, and while personally I'd choose to put him out of his misery, I need that pacifist achievement. His appearance as well is, really cool. I mean, have you seen the full image of that sprite that's on his, security robot thing? The cast of F-Zero. While Captain Falcon is one of Nintendo's coolest characters and rightfully deserves his pedestal as one of the company's all-time greats, the rest of the characters from his series have almost been entirely forgotten. With some Samurai Goro-labeled exceptions, I doubt anybody could be able to recognize, let alone name any of the characters from F-Zero. Hell, I have to Google most of them, and I'm a big F-Zero fan. Don Genie, Phoenix, Mrs. Arrow, Spade, John fucking Tanaka? Yeah, absolutely nobody remembers these guys. And it's kind of a shame. They're all pretty much in the same boat of coolness as Captain Falcon. And a pretty major reason as to why Captain Falcon is raised to a higher amount of attention is because of his appearances in Super Smash Bros. As I said before, Samurai Goro is not often forgotten, and I mean, I can't really blame you because his cutscenes are like amazing.
You stole the prize money from us last time! That's a fine-looking machine you're piloting, Falcon! You know the law here in Red Canyon? If you lose the race, you forfeit your machine!
I really need Nintendo to bring back this series at some point so they can breathe new life into these characters who are absolutely deserving of it. Except for, these guys, I don't know why, but they freak me the hell out. Deep Ground from Final Fantasy. While the Final Fantasy series is home to a pretty massive list of forgettable, boring characters, none of them compare to the members of Deep Ground from Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus. Not only is Dirge of Cerberus one of the worst games I think I've ever played, it's also one of the worst written games I've ever played, which is partially blamed at Deep Ground, which comprises a cast of some of the most horrifically bland, annoying, and forgettable antagonists I think I've ever seen in a video game. To tell you the truth, I don't even fully remember the motivation of these characters wreaking havoc in the first place. All I know is that they're out to take over the planet, I guess, because that's what evil bad guys do. Also, I guess Vice wanted to bring back Hojo. He is Hojo? I don't know, man. Azul, Rosso, and Shulk add pretty much nothing to the game and essentially act as props for story beats that basically end up going nowhere because Dirge of Cerberus is canonically the last game in the FF7 series. They do nothing to clarify, answer, or breathe new life into any of the questions someone might have about this series' world. They only add to them. And it doesn't help that everybody's dialogue in this game just... oh my god, it hurts! Only Nero and Vice have ever returned out of obscurity for the Final Fantasy VII Remake series of games. But I'm fairly certain their importance will remain as shallow as their depth. Also, I'm pretty sure Nero and Vice have like some weird like sexual tension with each other, which like I don't really condone. Yeah, let's move on from that. Literally everybody from Kid Icarus Uprising. One of Nintendo's other underappreciated game series is Kid Icarus. While the first two games were nothing special and were fairly mediocre, the third game, Uprising, was the perfect reintroduction of the franchise into the modern day. Masahiro Sakurai saw great potential in the universe of Kid Icarus, and helped out in the creation of various brand new characters to help flesh everything out. However, most people seem to overlook a good 90% of the game's casts for whatever reason. Most people seem to only focus on Pit, Palutena, and Viridi, and ignore other fantastic characters like Medusa, Hades, Phosphora, Pandora, Thanatos, and countless others. I think a lot of these characters being forgotten can be chalked up to Smash Bros. Yet again, as really only Pit, Dark Pit, Palutena, and Viridi make standout appearances in that game, just like how Captain Falcon is handled. I mean, don't get me wrong, those characters are still great, but like, partially what made them so great was their interactions with the others in Kid Icarus Uprising. It really is a shame that people don't know how much of a great villain Hades is. He steals pretty much every scene that he's present in, and he has a ton of incredibly memorable lines throughout the whole game.
Oh! Did I beat him?
No, I'm fine, but I could have sprained my ankle, you know.
Good thing I did this.
I mean, I could show plenty of clips of these other characters, but just showing them off to you instead of you finding them on your own time is doing a disservice to these characters. They really are even better during the heat of gameplay. Kid Icarus Uprising is an absolutely incredible game and deserves every bit of love that it gets. It just really sucks that most of its best aspects have been almost entirely forgotten over the years, with the series now sitting in the shadow of Nintendo's other big franchises like Mario or Zelda. Though, to be fair, the year is 2026, and the 40th anniversary of Kid Icarus is coming up. And part of me is wishing for Nintendo to come out guns blazing with a new Kid Icarus game, or at least a port of Kid Icarus Uprising, with like a gyro support or something, I don't know. But for the meantime, we can appreciate this game and its many, many fantastic forgotten characters. So anyways, that was my list of 5 of some of the most forgotten video game characters. Are you fans of these characters? Let me know by leaving a comment below. I really would like to start a discussion on these underappreciated characters with you guys. I'll see you all in the next video, probably. Catch you all later!